Hello, everyone. We're about to get started here. First of all, a big welcome and thank you to all of those who are here today. We're happy to have you here at Lambeau Field. Also, a big thank you to our sponsor, USA Today and Local IQ, for sponsoring our Packers Fan Hall of Fame. So the Packers Fan Hall of Fame, it goes back to 1998, and this will be our 27th inductee into the Packers Fan Hall of Fame. The objective is to honor a devout and longtime Packers fan. As we know, we have the best fans in the country. This year, we are joined by some previous honorees, and if you could stand and give us a wave once I announce your name. Dan Bogenschutz, 2023 honoree.
Bogey.
Jeff Yasik, 2021. George Odious, 2020. Steve Schumer, 2014. And Tom Little, 2010. So this year received hundreds of nominations, and the group was narrowed down to the 10 finalists you see before you by the Fan Hall of Fame Committee. Voting ran from January 1st to January 31st, and over 70,000 votes were cast online at Packers.com. And at this time, I would like to introduce you to Mark Murphy, President and CEO of the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you, May. I have to, first of all, I want to acknowledge Katie Hermson, who normally would be introducing me. Katie has come down with a little bit of a sore throat, but she's on injured reserve. We're keeping her separate from everybody. So it's really great to be here today. This is really one of our favorite days here at Lambeau Field. It's really special. Every team in the league says we have the best fans. I think we're the only ones that can really say it, and it's true. Well, and because almost, raise your hands if you're an owner of the Packers. That's why we have the best fans. You are owners. And no, we really, we have the best fans in the league. Some of my best moments over my career have been on away games when we take control of the game. Home team fans leave, and the Packer fans, about half of the stadium's full of Packer fans. We take over the stadium, and it's a huge advantage for us, and we really do appreciate it. The other thing, obviously it's great to see all of the nominees, but even more impressive to me is the families and supporters here. So how about giving yourselves a round? You're all winners in our. I know they say that in beauty pageants, that you're all winners, but it applies here as well. So really, really excited about it. I also do want to give special mention to our Packers staff here, actually from our Milwaukee office. Some of you may not know we have a relatively large office. Obviously, we have a lot of fans, and we have a season ticket base from Milwaukee, so we do have a Milwaukee office. You heard from May Hudson, but also Meridian Whitfield is also. Where's Meridian? Right? Yeah, that's Curta. Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah. They're really have been a key factor in terms of making sure that this event runs smoothly and really establishing it. So we appreciate that. Our fans mean so much to us. As I said before, all teams brag about their fans, but we all know how unique Packer fans are. And without the support that we've had over the years from our fans for the last, it's hard to believe, 106 years, we wouldn't be in Green Bay. So you have rallied together many times to make sure the team stays here. We're the only team in the league with a Fan Hall of Fame. Very proud of that. Yeah. And it is a tribute to particularly these fans, our fans, passion and commitment. And one of the things we really do enjoy is the nominations and reading about the many different ways that you support and really give all of your recognition and support to our team. We really do appreciate it. You've heard enough from me. I'm going to now introduce the finalists for the 2024 Fan Hall of Fame. First, and why don't you stand up when I introduce your name? Bill Port from New Berlin, Wisconsin. Bill? Bill and I go back a ways. Bill, what was it, a couple years ago, Bill? Last year, applied. We were having a little trouble on defense. Applied to be our defensive coordinator. And Bill, why don't you tell him what I suggested you do? I thought his background and experience was perfect for the Chicago Bears defensive coordinator. So, needless to say, he's not the defensive coordinator for the Bears, but he is a finalist. So, thank you, Bill. Next, John Brosick from Pound, Wisconsin. John passed away a few months ago, but he is represented today by his son, Max. So really great to have you here, Max. I know you other members of your family here as well. Yeah. Lori Coonan from Combined Locks, Wisconsin. Lori? Enthusiastic family and support. That's good. All right, next, Michael Rossi from Hackettstown, New Jersey. Not a Giant fan, Packers fan. That's good. All right, next, from Onalaska, Paul Gasper. Next, Reagan Buchholz from Bondwell, Wisconsin. Wearing a Clay Matthews jersey. That's good. Next, Scott Schwartz from Pulaski, Wisconsin. Scott. Tammy Hedges from Weston, Florida. You know, I'm reminded with Fan of the Year nominees from all over the country, we really are, our fans are everywhere. And, you know, one of the great programs, I'm going to brag about my daughter, started the Packers Everywhere program. I don't know how many of you are aware of that. Yes. It really highlights the uniqueness of our fans and how they are everywhere. And it's, again, as I mentioned before, it's a huge support. And they're, not only are there Packer fans everywhere, there are Packer bars everywhere. All right. Next, Ken Groholski from Manawa, Wisconsin. And last, from Bear Country, we've got Valerie Schmick from Yorkville, Illinois. So just a little bit about what the winner will receive today. And this is really something that the Packers, as we've said before, we've sponsored for 27 years. And we've partnered more recently with USA Today, Local IQ. The winner will receive the following. Obviously, acknowledgement as the 27th honoree into the Packer Fan Hall of Fame with their name permanently displayed in a place of honor in the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame, which is right here on the first floor. They'll also receive 4 club tickets to a 2025 Packers home game, 4 VIP pregame sideline passes for a home game this year, 4 passes to the Packers Hall of Fame, a $500 gift card to the Packers Pro Shop, a 1-year subscription to PackersNews.com. Now, we'd like to officially announce the winner of the 2024 Fan Hall of Fame honoree. Our winner is John Brosick from Pound, Wisconsin. As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, John passed away a few months ago. His son Max and the rest of the family are here in his honor today. I want to congratulate his entire family. Max, would you like to say a few words?
Sure.
Yeah.
I better display his picture. I can't thank the Packers enough for everything you've done for Dad over the last 60 years. You can read what I wrote about him. A true diehard. Everything in his life revolved around this organization, whether it was birthdays, weddings, you name it. And you didn't want to disappoint Dad. I was just sharing a story. Even if there was possibly a playoff game, that's a date there could be a playoff game, so don't plan anything on that day. But I probably turned down more tickets than I took with Dad going to the game, and he just absolutely had a passion. He never spoke bad about the organization, about the coaches, about the players, and he's always like, just have faith, And I think even more, the Packer organization brought so many family members and friends that he and my mom reached across this country. When I announced to a lot of people that I put him in for this and he was a finalist, people just poured out, with about his story and interaction that they had with him, and people who had been to the tailgate parties and stuff like that. So, when I was talking to him in the hospital, when I said, "Can you give me a little more information about what I can put in this write-up?" And he's like, "I don't really care about that stuff." I'm like, "Oh, geez, I got this huge write-up, put all my time into this, and now you don't even care." And so then when I told him that he was a finalist, he's like, "Oh, really? I'm a finalist now." I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "Hey, you gotta make it till February." He goes, "Well, probably not gonna, but he's here in spirit." And I tell you what, congratulations to all of the nominees. And again, can't thank everybody enough. Thanks.
I'm sure he's smiling up in heaven. So, Katie, we're going to take questions here?
Yeah, I think if we want to take a quick moment to take a picture.
Sure. Black?
The black here, yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to jump in and take a quick photo. We can also do that after questions too.
Katie, I believe this is the first inductee that's been inducted posthumously?
As far as I understand.
Yeah.
May, do you know?
Yeah.
This is the first inductee that's been inducted posthumously. Okay.
Yeah.
Any members of the media want to chime in with any questions? Rich, I know you.
All right, I'll ask a question. Our media's shy. All right. What's your favorite story about your father in terms of his support for the Packers?
Oh, boy. Favorite story about Dad with the Packers. So he has two huge passions. One is the Packers and obviously deer hunting. And the tough thing was when, of course, deer season, kind of goes on with Packer season. And so there was a game, I can't remember what game it was. It was a really good game. Might even been when it wasn't a playoff game, but it was a tight game the whole time. And it was during rifle season. And he said, no, we're going to leave at the end of the third quarter. And I'm like, I don't care, because I'm a Packer fan, but I'm not a diehard like he is. And so the game was really tight, and he sat with all these fans for so many years. And at the end of the third quarter, I think it was tied. And he stands up, and they're like, "John, where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, we're leaving." He goes, "Why are you leaving?" He's like, "Oh, we got to go deer hunting." And they're like, "It's only like an hour and a half left before dark." And our hunting land's only about 45 minutes away because when there's no Packer traffic. And so sure enough, we left. We listened to the game. Packers won. And he shot a deer, or I shot the deer, because he's like, "I'm not going to shoot, you shoot." So that was probably the one. Somehow he would put his passions together between deer hunting and the Packers. So that, for me, that's probably a good one.
That's a good one.
Oh, wow.
Other questions?
So I'm John's, one of his daughters, and one of the things that was a memory for me is since he got sick and he was diagnosed in June, the Packer games were really, it was like a shining light for him, and it helped him with his goals that he wanted to get to the opening game, because this was his 60th year where he did not miss a home game in his package. And the week before the home opener, he ended up in the ICU with complications. And from the moment he got in, he was telling the doctors in the ICU, I don't know what's wrong, but you got to fix me because I'm out of here and I'm going to be at that Packer game on Sunday. And he kept saying that every step along the way, to the point where he was saying to the doctor, if you don't let me out, I'm going to leave tomorrow. And so we had to pacify him to keep him in there for a couple more days. So my sister and I and our cousin, we sat there and we went through every away game that he went to, and we said, okay, Dad, what year did you go to Baltimore? And then he wouldn't always remember the year, but he always knew if it was a win or a loss. And so we spent 2 days in the ICU talking to him about his away games, and we made these shirts. And he only has 3 stadiums he didn't make it to, so we're going to take his ashes to the last 3.
All right, how many of you have seen Green and Gold? Only the Packers have a film made about Packer fans and farming. It brings everything together. Have you seen Green and Gold? All right, I put that on your bucket list. Media, any questions? Gus? Come on, Gus.
Hi, my name is Maria. I'm from WBAY. You guys touched on it a little bit about how you're going to honor your father's legacy, but how do you? That's what I was going to ask. Is like, what else do you plan on doing to honor his legacy during the season?
Well, obviously, a big part of him going to the games was the the tailgating. So that that legacy, a lot of his friends are here that he tailgates with, and so that's going to keep going on. Greg, did you want to say something?
One of John's precious collections over the years, he's got a bench, an actual bench from the Ice Bowl. Oh. And he'd like to donate that to the Hall of Fame if possible.
Absolutely, that's possible. That's great. Thank you.
Sure. The question was, kind of my path to nominating Dad for this award. I can't even remember where I heard about it. Anyway, so then of course when Dad was diagnosed back in June, and to me it just kind of seemed fitting, because as a kid you grow up, with the Packers all the time, and you hear about the Ice Bowl games and all these stories, just on and on. And I said, well, at least I'll nominate him for it, and then that's why I said when I talked to him in the hospital about stuff, but then you lived a lot of it with him. We all did, and so it was easy to write it up. The tough thing was to keep it at 500 words, So I just it flowed so easily for me, just basically telling his story, as simply as I could. And so, like I said, he didn't really care about it initially, but then when he found out he was a finalist, then he cared a little bit more. Favorite player or favorite coach? Over the years, let's see. Matthews. I know my daughter's wearing his Matthews jersey. I'm trying to think. Over the years, God, there's been. I don't know anybody else favorite. I know Watson was one. I don't know. He loved them all. But every now and then he might have one that he would kind of watch a little bit more, during the season and be like, oh, he's got to go to so-and-so, he's got to go to so-and-so. Oh, the one thing you talk about stories, betting. He would bet throughout the game. It would start.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah. It was like, 25 cents. And like, hey, I think a pick six, or it's going to be a first down, no first down. And my dad and I bet every game $20 a game for the last 20 years, and I think over the years he definitely came out ahead. I'm like, what is your? And he loved it. So. Oh, and somehow security failed. He's here with us today. No, he enjoyed the rivalries, you know. But he always welcomed fans from whatever team with open arms. You know, it didn't matter, you know, what team you were from. If you were passionate about your team and he was passionate about his team, there was always common ground. So yeah, he accepted them.
You know, learning that the Packers are the only team with a fan Hall of Fame, I think that's pretty interesting. But I will say, you know, I don't think any fan really goes out with the intent of ending up in the Hall of Fame. But let's say there is one who wants to be where your father is now. I mean, do you have any advice for them on how to be the best Packers fan you can be?
You know, it kind of goes back to what I said. You have to be an ambassador. I mean, I think that's a huge thing that the Packers kind of exude at being a Packer fan. You're an ambassador for our state, for Green Bay, and kind of our Midwest culture, if you will. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's what kind of Dad was. He was an ambassador for the Pack. So he never turned anybody away. He'd always offer somebody a cocktail at the tailgate party, you know, regardless of what shirt they were wearing. So yeah, be the ambassador.
All right, how about a round of applause? All of our nominees.
All right, thank you so much for coming, everyone. If we could have all 10 finalists kind of come up here in front, we're going to take a group photo. And then I know it's a cold day out, but if you guys are interested in going down to the field for photos, we can escort you down there as well. All right. So
It's ice ball weather today. Gus, this is your job, and Gus is the expert at this.
No, I did not. I don't know how to do all that stuff. But I figured that usually it's so awesome. YouTube noise or whatever. We never had those snippets of our work. And actually, Jeff wanted this is real good. This is what he did for my daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that's really cool.
This whole feature is a sweatshirt for the special education department. I went through it.
Thanks. Very nice.
I go through it.
It's a great
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Hey, I recognize you. Yes, thank you. This is nice. I can't believe it's been years. Right, I know. Remember him?